elect him and we are going to kick Javadi out of Tillamook. So
Gravity.
Javadi, thank you. Who said that? Eve, thank you, Javadi. Thank you. And so Andy, let us know what you're up to and who are you for
How
everyone?
much time do you want me to take here? Just to,
I allotted 15 minutes with questions, so maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll get a few questions.
Sure. I'll try to be quick then. Hi everyone. Thanks for being here. Thank you for working with the Central Committee in Tillamook County. I was a longtime Central Committee member in Clatsop, and it's important work. So thank you for coming out. So my name's Andy Davis. I use he/him pronouns. I am a city councilor in Astoria, and I'm running for House 32 right now. Took over after Logan had to bow out. And that's unfortunate for all of us. Logan was a great candidate, and I feel fortunate to be able to step into this place and try to pick up after him and oppose Cyrus Javity, who I think does some things that none of us in this room are probably too fond of. And so hopefully we can draw some contrasts in this race and make sure that people have a choice. I'll try to go through really quickly just sort of my background, what I'm about, why I'm in this race. I think I sent a link over to Cole so that he could share the link to the website. There's opportunities for donation, endorsement, volunteering, all on the website, and a little bit of issue information. I'm a research analyst for the Oregon Health Authority, so I work for the state. I lead a program called the Oregon Healthcare Workforce Reporting Program. We are specialists in what's going on with the licensed healthcare workforce in the state of Oregon. So my day job is we take surveys of folks. We analyze that data. We work with the licensing boards. We report to the legislature about what's going on, what trends we see in the workforce, what sort of equity things are coming up, how people are planning around their future who are working in the workforce, things like that. I am a member of SEIU 503. I've been a member of a couple different unions in my life. I was an AFSCME member when I first moved out to Clatsop County, working for Clatsop Behavioral Healthcare. And I was on the contract negotiation team and training to be a shop steward before we had our organization kind of frankly blow up because the union and management got in some disputes, and it was hot and heavy for a little while. And we were successful, I think, in turning the organization around, but I took the opportunity to move on when I could and when it seemed like we were going in the right direction. I'm a pro-choice candidate. I'm pro-environment. I have a long background in sustainability and environmental justice work. I'm pro-labor. My family, I'm third generation union member myself. My grandfather was a stonecutter, and my dad was an electrical worker for General Electric for 37 years. My priorities are housing, healthcare coverage, access to healthcare, training for healthcare professionals, education funding, especially I think in our district, a lot of education and special districts are dependent on timber revenue. And so making sure that the legislature comes up with a solution so that we can keep funding our rural schools. I want to make sure that there are resources available for water resources in the district. That we've got a real patchwork of different kinds of water need in the district, but it's an essential for our life and for our health. And so helping communities with resources from the state to make sure that they can take care of and control their own water. And then probably finally, protecting reproductive rights. I just happily got my endorsement from Planned Parenthood of Oregon, and I'm strongly on board for making sure that none of these bills like Rep. Javity tried to push in the legislature get through, and that we protect women's rights in the state of Oregon. I'm a Clatsop Dem. I have been since 2016. I was really frustrated when Trump got elected and joined the Central Committee. I've been on the SEC. I've been an SEC delegate for 8 years now. I was the secretary and the chair of the Clatsop Dems. I currently am also on the Platform and Resolutions Committee for CD1. I'm happy to do that work. I really like the organizing work and getting to know people in the party. You all have you all have got a poster of mine. I realize today I'm wearing the same shirt, which is kind of funny. But one of our volunteers in the Clatsop Dems, who I've just worked with for a long time, made that poster out of the goodness of his heart, and I love that kind of spirit of helping each other out in the party and trying to do everything we can to make this work and get elected officials who are Democrats. I guess prior to city council, I was on the budget committee for 4 years for both the county and the city of Astoria. That's a sort of focus for me. It dovetails with me being an analyst in my day job. And I also was the chair of our comprehensive plan update. So we hadn't updated the comprehensive plan in Clatsop County for 25 years. And so we had a pretty extensive 3-year long citizen advisory committee, which I got to chair. So I am at this point very familiar with land use law in the state of Oregon. And that's a focus of mine too, especially when it comes to housing and how we balance off our environmental interests and keeping our urban growth boundaries with trying to get more housing on the ground for people so that they can attain housing at some sort of an affordable rate. I'm happy to take questions. Yeah, nice to see you all. I'm glad to be here.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, so we know that Javity missed at least 15 voting sessions
Yeah.
this last session. How many, when you're elected, how many do you plan on missing?
I don't think I don't believe I've missed a single vote in Astoria City Council yet. If I'm sick, I video in, which I know that's not an option in the legislative chambers. But yeah, our researchers that are helping me out from Future PAC counted 230 votes out of a little bit over 700 roll call votes that he had missed in the last session, which is remarkable to me. And I honestly, I don't know how you look people in the face if you show up to work that little. But I would plan to be there every day. I will say there's a conflict between my day job. So I work for the state executive branch. I won't be able to continue to work for the executive branch. So being a legislator would be my full-time job if I was elected.
Very good. Thank you. I see that David McCall has a question.
Yeah, Andy, good to see you. I mean, just in full disclosure, Andy and I have known each other for going on a decade now and have interacted in a lot of different ways. 2 questions. Question number 1, if you are elected, how are you going to communicate with your constituents and how often? And then the second question I'm going to ask is, I know you're very aware of FEMA's biological opinion and the
Sure.
I'm going to say the stuff that they're springing on us all out of the blue all of a sudden. And I don't think any of us realize the repercussions that's going to have on housing. And how can we fix this in 30 seconds or less?
Well, one question is a lot easier than the other. So, so as far as communicating with the district, so one of the things I'm super excited about with this job is that because only a portion of the year is in Salem, you have a big chunk of the year to actually be in the district and talk to people who are living out here and hear what their concerns are, so that you can ramp up for the new session with a head full of information about what's important to people out in the district. So talking to people in that time frame, but also I really, I subscribe to Representative Gomberg's newsletter, and I think he's got a great model for distributing information to people in his district or anyone who's around. Utilizing staff members who are professional and your own knowledge about what's going on in the state and bringing in those resources and reports from all over the place. I think one of the great things is he's bringing in so much information that's not just what's coming through his office, but broad information about what's going on in the landscape. I think it's a perfect model for me. The FEMA BIOP. So yes, so you and I both serve on COLPAC, which is the Columbia Pacific Economic Development District. And that's been a big topic of discussion. Astoria's neighbors over in Warrenton are going to get absolutely slammed by the new the changes to the floodplain maps and by the BIOP. I think for me, there's a couple of things that come up in terms of one of the effects that's likely to happen is people who live in the floodplain now are it seems very likely to lose their floodplain insurance through FEMA. And I think that the state, while we're waiting for things like hopefully a lawsuit to correct this, and make FEMA sort of retrench after a lawsuit so that they don't damage these developments quite as much. While we're waiting on that, for the state to offer some backstop insurance for those people so that they don't all of a sudden lose their mortgage insurance and can't afford to stay in the places they have now. I also think that, you know, at Colpack, we had some mixed opinions about how to support and how to communicate support for folks that are in opposition to this. But I think the state coming out and saying, listen, there are communities that are going to be severely affected, and especially there's an economic justice component because a lot of these people that live in these floodplains are not high income people. You know, the folks in Astoria that have the money are the people living at the top of the hill, not down in the floodplain. And those folks need help from the state so that they don't lose their homes and their affordability. Yeah, that's what I would say, Dave.
Thanks, Andy. Great.
Sandy?
Okay, Mary?
Andy, I'm Mary Leverett. I enjoyed getting a chance to become acquainted with you at the Tilco Dam office opening. And I have a hard question for you.
Okay.
And I'm fairly new to this organization as well, so this may be politically incorrect. But how is your campaign doing financially, and how can we help?
Yeah. Well, so the first half of that question, I will say, Cole helpfully put the link in chat about the website. There is a donate link there. You can either donate online or there's a PO box. I know I've called a handful of people that are here tonight about donating to the campaign. That's helpful, of course.
Okay.
As of today, I think we've raised 17,000 in 3 weeks of fundraising. So we're getting a start. But one of the things that's happening right now is that my campaign manager and I are churning out institutional endorsement material right now and doing interviews. Pretty much every night I have some interviews for endorsements and trying to get folks, you know, Representative Witt here representing some of the unions. The unions are big players in that money game. You know, there was some discussion about how this works institutionally. We did get endorsement from the Teamsters Union. I'm talking to AFSCME tomorrow. I talked to SEIU this week, trying to get those folks on board who can see that we're raising some money at the local level. So that 17,000 has all come from people like yourselves, where I have called them and said we need help, and that shows folks like Future PAC and the unions that we're worth investing in. So hopefully we will get some bigger dollar amounts rolling in the next couple of weeks, frankly.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Eves, you have a question?
Yeah, are there any debates scheduled with you and Dr. Javity? And if not, can we get some?
I don't know of any yet, but I am eager to have some debates because I think not only the attendance record, but you know, when Logan was debating with Representative Javity, I think there were very clear distinctions about his approach to unions. You know, he was very anti-labor in his statements. His approach to reproductive rights is very different than mine. His claim, he had a town hall up in Astoria 2.5 weeks ago and claimed that he was a strong environmental candidate, which he's got a 1% score from OLCV. And I can't imagine how you come to the conclusion that you're a good environmental candidate. So I would love to have debates with Cyrus so that we can talk about some of these things and just get some things straight, frankly. I think I'm a better candidate in all of those areas. So I'm happy to talk about them, frankly, and hope that there will be those organized debates. We've certainly had a good tradition of them in this race. So
We did, thank you. I wanted, are there any other questions? I don't see. Susan Pierce.
Sue's got a question.
Hi, Susan.
The AAUW, American Association of University Women, Lisa Phipps, is working on a candidate forum, and I believe it is for October.
Great. Thank you, Susan. That is an impressive safe you have behind you.
It is. It is. All right.
If you talk nice to her, she'll empty it out for your campaign.
There you go. So, as Andy said, Cole did put, Andy's campaign email or website in the chat. If you just click on that now, it'll take you there. Then you can come back to the meeting. And then as soon as the meeting's over, I invite everybody to go online, make a donation. I made one earlier today. It's very easy, very fast. And let's get some money in Andy's campaign. Also, not yet. Not yet. I talked to Jacob von Brunswick yesterday. He's Andy's campaign manager. You know, he's one of our own past PCPs. He is going to have a meeting here at the office on Sunday, September 15th to go canvassing. So we invite all PCPs, all volunteers to come here on Sunday, 9/15 at 10 a.m. And we are going to go out to Tillamook and make some noise. So please join us on that. Again, Andy, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for putting yourself in this position, your commitment to Tillamook County. And we look forward to you being our next House District 32 candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Constance. Thank you, everyone, for your work. Have a
Yes,
great
thank
meeting.
you. Thank you. And you're really welcome to stay with us if you like.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. And